Good evening. My name is Will Hunter, and I work in the scholarships and strategic initiatives area of the financial aid office at UNF. Today, we're going to talk about financial aid. What is financial aid? Financial aid is any resource that you can use to help you assist with the cost of attending college. So, we're going to look at the sources of financial aid. So, federal government, state government, schools like UNF, and private donors. So we're going to look at the categories of financial aid. So we have your need-based, which is your Pell Grants, your state grants like your FSAG awards, and your subsidized student loans. And then your talent-based aid, which would be like your athletic scholarships or your athletic awards, your musical awards, and your artistic awards. And then merit-based, which is based on your high school GPA, your test scores would be your Bright Futures, and then your UNF Presidential Awards. And then the non-need based would be everything else. So we're going to look at the types of financial aid. So you have your gift aid and you have your self-help aid. So your gift aid, if you think of a gift, the gift aid doesn't have to be repaid. That would be your scholarships and your grants, like your Bright Futures, your UNF scholarships, your grants. If you're getting a scholarship, you're going to have to do an application more than likely to get the scholarship. So when we look at self-help aid, that's your work study and your student loans. So we're going to talk about work study here in more detail shortly. So your self-help aid would be your federal work study award, which is in essence an award where you get a job on campus or off campus. You work part-time, no more than 20 hours a week, and you work. And at UNF, we pair you with a job related to your major, so you could gain some skills to help you in your career once you leave UNF. Then you have your direct loans, which would be your subsidized and your unsubsidized loan. Just keep in mind that loans have to be repaid. And you have your plus loans, which is a loan that your parent can take for you to help you with your college expenses. And this is not based on needs, so it's a non-need based, credit-based loan. So next, we're going to talk about applying for financial aid. So there's an application for financial aid. It's called a FAFSA, Free Application for Federal Student Aid. The 2021-2022 application opens here in a few days on October the 1st. Keep in mind that this application has to be done every year. And it takes about 30 minutes to complete. You'll need your parents' income information, household information. And UNF has a priority consideration of October the 15th. That's how we award our institutional awards, like the grants, because of limited funding. So if a student is needy and we have the FAFSA, there's a great chance that they get the limited institutional grants. So next we're going to talk about applying for state financial aid. So that's in Florida, the Florida application for financial aid. It takes about 15 minutes. You'll do it normally when you're a senior with help from the guidance area. Takes about 15 minutes. That's how you apply for Bright Futures in essence. Has to be done before August the 31st of the year in which you graduate from high school. So if you're a senior, before August 31st, 2021. Next, we're going to briefly talk about some of the UNF scholarship opportunities. One of the programs is a presidential scholarship. So a student can be awarded up to $24,000 over 4 years. So divide by 4. So the award of the scholarship is based off of the student's high school GPA and their standardized test scores. Also keep in mind that these funds are limited. So we award based on availability of funds. The earlier you apply for admission at UNF, the greater the chances of you getting the scholarship if you meet the criteria. This is kind of one of the scholarships that once you apply, UNF automatically looks to see if you're eligible. We have something called a Osprey Test Prep Award. You can get $4,000 over 4 years, divided between the fall and the spring semester, $500 per fall spring term. Basically, Um, uh, this program helps you get ready to take a standardized test. May help you increase your test scores, etc. We have two events currently. There's an event on the 26th. I want to say that one's full, and then we have one on the 24th of October. Information for these events are on the admissions webpage. Just keep in mind that all of our scholarships require 15 hours per semester or per term. That's roughly about 5 classes. So just to spend a few minutes with you about applying for private scholarships. I know sometimes, the scholarship application may require an essay. We just suggest that you take time and write the essay. You can reuse and recycle the essay that you used. Keep in mind that if it takes you an hour to write an essay and you get $1,000, you made $1,000 an hour. And remember, you can reuse that essay. Some places you want to check is places in the community, your civic organizations, your Rotary Club, your Kiwanis, etc. Check with if you have a job, your company, your parents' company, your churches, high schools sometimes offer scholarships. Do a search online. Just keep in mind, don't pay for scholarships. Don't pay for an application or provide your social or anything to the entity. It's a quick timeline for financial aid. Keep in mind, October the 1st is when the FAFSA opens for the 21-22 year, and then UNF priority deadline is October the 15th. Keys to success with the financial aid process is you got to be patient, you got to be persistent, and you have to be flexible. So this process is probably new to some of you. Don't let it frustrate you. Once you get started, it's self-explanatory. And just be flexible. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions?